Robert's Mercado world. This. Hey, Damon. I don't know about this. I just followed you, make sure you're okay. That's the only song I know, I'm sorry. Oh my god, what are you looking at? Pokedex? What is that? Alright, gotta go. Pokemon guys. You wish to know where my true loyalty lies? Not with the king or queen, but with the people. The people who suffer under despots and prosper under just rule. The people whose hearts you aim to win. If you demand blind allegiance, I respect your wishes. You can have Grey Worm behead me or your dragons devour me. But if you let me live, I will serve you well. I will dedicate myself to seeing you on the Iron Throne because I choose you, because I know the people have no better chance than you. Hey everybody, we are live from Westeros. It's me, Robert Mercado World, your host with my co-host, Mr. Jimmy Moonshine.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey everybody, bienvenidos, welcome. We are here to get into all the juice that is going on in House of the Dragon in the finale. And whoa, I loved it. Let's talk about it right at the front. People were like going off about it, talking about there's a backlash. Like the people were having a major issue with it, and I loved it. What do you think?
I loved it too. We spoke about in our private discussion, I'm like, people who, this may be a hot take, but people who are complaining about the finale are not true fans of the source material. Because I'm like, it's Game of Thrones has always been a build up. Like, especially, and now that we're seeing like House of the Dragon, they pushed the fast forward button and people are still complaining. Like, remember way back when we was watching Game of Thrones, it took Daenerys like what 3-4 seasons to get to freaking King's Landing, but
Right,
Allison is popping up, boom, in like 20 seconds to
right, right.
Dragonstone. Like, come on. So like you'll never be able to satisfy everyone, but I think if you're a true fan of the series, of the Dance of Fire and Ice, of the House of the Dragon, you were satisfied with the finale because it's building up so much for the next season.
Mm-hmm. So it's the Song of Ice and Fire and the Dancing of the Dragons, right?
Yeah, the
That's
Dance
what
of
it's
the
all
Dragons,
about.
and yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
right. And it was a dance. It was a song. Songs got to get you into it. The beat starts, and then you
Yeah,
got
you
boom,
gotta,
boom into
give it.
it.
Like Nicki
Get a little
Minaj says,
something.
you gotta get that right first.
Right. Okay. Like we gotta find a quote that's appropriate from someone from Westeros. Do you think you just that you matter? You're just a player on the board, people. There's things going on. We're all
Give them
part of
some
the
Miss Rivers.
yeah. So
Rivers. And not
there were
Joan, not Joan, not Joan.
okay. So I want to take you through. We have some quotes that I want to Stephen I, Mr. Jimmy Moonshine will read that were part of the breakdown that was going on, that they were giving some descriptions of things how we left last episode, because last episode was pretty crazy. I think,
Mm-hmm.
you know what it reminded me of, in Buffy, I believe it was season 4 when it ended. They had a big it was like they had a big finale. Oh, with she fought Adam, the robot guy, and then the next
Oh,
episode, it was like it wasn't the typical finale. It was like more quiet. So
yeah.
the penultimate episode, was like big fight, and then the next one was like
Was
setting it
more low
up.
key. Yeah,
Like
for the
she
next
she met the
season.
first Slayer, and it was quiet, and it was more character driven, and I
Yeah.
felt like all these shows have their rights. To evolve the story and not necessarily just be all about the action, because
Yes.
you know what, at the end of the day, this is a show and there's a
And
lot
it's
that
a
goes
show about like drama and personal relationships. It's not like an action based show, even though there's great action scenes and great battles. Like the whole point of Game of Thrones is not like to just keep throwing action scenes and action scenes and action scenes in your face. Like it's a story at the end of the day, you know? Like not everything is gonna be a dramatic. Not every episode is gonna be a dramatic battle.
Right, exactly. And I'm gonna read this first quote here and put this picture up because Rhaenyra, she is there and she is telling him, "You stand with the dragon of House Targaryen," right? And then in the next line, she's talking to Jace, who, he's all pissy. And what does she say there? The next
With these
quote.
riders, we can end a needless war.
Right. And he's like, House Targaryen is the blood of the dragon, and if any may lay claim to it, what are we then? Right? And then
Yeah,
our dear, and that was a moment,
pure
like,
Allison.
right. And that was a moment. What does she say?
She says, "All my life I've endeavored to serve, and somehow none of it matters."
Oh, give her an Emmy right there.
Like,
She,
right? She was trying to serve. Like, all she had. Remember, like, people give Allison flack, and guilty. I've been one of those to be like, "Ugh, she irks my nerves." But then you got to put yourself in her position, where she was a like 15, 14, 15-year-old child, where she was like had to bed and wed this old man king and like bear him children, you know? So how
right.
great of a mother can you be? Like no disrespect to any of the young moms out there. But how great of a mom can you be at like 14, you know?
Right, right. And then let's so we get into the next line and it's from Eamon and he's like ready to make his alliance with the Trarchy. He's like, I've had enough of this cursed blockade, you know? And that was setting up some fun that we're about to get into once we jump into the episode after this catch up for everybody. And
Yeah.
Eamon, yeah, that was what do you think? That was a good plan I think he had there. Like you had to, right?
Yeah, Eamon is strategic. Like I'll give him that.
Right.
I also think he has like a lust to try to he has this competition in his own head with his uncle of Damon, you know? Like he has a comparison in his head to Damon, and I'm like, Damon doesn't even like pay you any mind, Damon.
Right. Yeah. It's like
Like
it's just me versus him. It'll
it's
come down.
like
He's like,
beep beep. Is that beef? Like
right. If I don't even know you exist, is that beef?
you
Like
know,
what?
like
And go ahead and read the next one. It's during a vision, and it's from Miss Alice Rivers herself.
yes, Miss Witchy, mysterious Alice Rivers, where she hits Damon with, "There are older things in this world, older than you or I or any living memory. You are not a player, but a piece on the board, man. Like you're a piece on the board. This is the Game of Thrones. It's
Right.
a
And that
game."
was, and I think that what we're looking at on the screen is an image of Damon talking to Viserys. And it was
Viserys.
and that was a great moment. But that's up on the screen because that was definitely a moment. Uh, that was like really powerful, a really full circle moment
Yeah.
for for them. And the last one, let me pull up the
Wait, and a little
image.
tidbit while that image is still up
Hmm.
there. The actor who plays Viserys said that he enjoyed it so much, and everyone enjoyed his character, obviously, in season one. Like, he brought so much to the show. He said he would return on the stimulation that he gets to be the decrepit Viserys that we see here on the screen right now. He wanted to make up, he wanted to have, like, that impact
Hmm.
of, like, not just being, like, the good looking young Viserys,
Right,
but like the deteriorated, like this is what the throne does. Are you sure you want this? Because this is what the throne does to you.
right. And yep, as we continue to wrap up our the previous episode, we had our young newly declared king,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of things going on, and the woman that was there from the Riverlands was like, the old ways call for justice to be done. And he was there, Oscar. He said, "Seize him. He must now rectify his grievous errors." Right? And I was like, "Ooh,
Ooh.
ooh, ooh, ooh." I was like, "This is about to get juicy." And of course, there you go, Damon. Damon had to let me pull that image. Had to give him the chop.
Had
Had to give him the chop, and that was a lot. That was a lot, right? I
he
was
was
like,
like, "It's
"Ooh."
a chop for me, chippity chop."
Right,
Like,
right.
exit that way.
And here we go. And give us that last one. I think this is one of the
Oh,
last ones we
where
got.
we at? Hold on. Do.
Let's see. It will be.
Hold on. See, hold on.
Yep. So that one's fun.
That one's not here.
Oh, okay. I'll read it.
Yeah.
And it's I believe actually this is part of yeah, this was part of the last episode. And the Maester is talking to Laris, and you see the image on the screen, and Laris ends up coming in, and he's like, the king needs to rest, and Laris tells him it will be long before he may rest again, and
Mm,
it was so true. It's like, look, he definitely has zero time to rest. Like,
yeah.
this
I mean,
guy's got a lot.
the quote should have been what he talked about, with his down there, like
Oh my god, yeah.
with the spit on the fire, man.
Oh yeah, he's like his sauce, his
His sausage,
COCK
yeah,
was
yeah, like a
was burst like
sausage.
a sausage on the
Gonna,
stick, right?
yeah, that was crazy. He's even talking about like how like he can't even like piss, let alone like produce an air and like be a legit king. Because in the source material, he has two sons, so he still has one in the source
Right.
material.
And
But in
this
the
one,
show,
no.
he only has one son and one daughter, and so his legit heir, since they're so misogynistic and they don't consider the daughter an heir, like his one true heir is gone. You know.
Right. And we
Uh,
had our lady Rhaenyra in the last episode declare probably the biggest line of the episode. Let us raise an army of bastards. That
mm,
was or if it wasn't the last episode, it was the episode right before, and it was like, woo,
period.
crazy, crazy. Like, this is what we're getting into, and it definitely got me excited. I think it sets the tone of how the series will be moving forward with the rest of the season. So.
Definitely.
I'm like, oh, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Let me see. I just want to see. We have some comments. I wanted the dragon fight. Yeah, yeah. I know. Hey, we wanted the dragon fight too, but we'll take what we get. Like
Yeah.
Mariah Carey says, we're gonna do doing the best of what we got. So we're
I
working
mean,
with
look
it.
how long it took us in Game of Thrones to get full fledged dragons. Like, we can be patient. We can be
Right,
patient. Like, when Daenerys popped up with those little baby dragons at the end of season one of Game of Thrones, we were super excited. So, like, it's the build up that, like, the anticipation of what's to come, you know?
right. Yeah, I think
The dragon fight would have been awesome. But within the same breath, like, it's the
right.
build up. It's the build up.
Right, right. It's the build up, come on. Get behind it.
This was
So
the
there
biggest
was that.
gripe online, that there wasn't a big dragon fight scene. I mean, it's to
Right,
come. It's to come. Because remember, when you fast forward and you watch Game of Thrones, which is not too far in the future from House of the Dragon, there are no dragons.
right,
There will be some dragon deaths and dragon fights to come. Let's just not hope that it all happens in season two. Like, we want this to keep going for a little bit.
right, exactly. We're gonna get at least two more seasons from what they've announced. Maybe it becomes five, but as of right now, the producers are saying it's gonna be 4 seasons. And all right, guys, we've been chatting for a while. Let's jump right into the new episode and break it down for you guys. Woo, woo, the finale, the finale. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay.
Yeah.
So we do meet this lady, and I thought it was funny. This person, someone online wrote that this was the most, this was a Game of Thrones season 8 type of character thrown onto the show. I was like, that's one way to put it. But as we join Tywin Lannister in the Free Cities, Tywin Lannister is negotiating with the Triarchy. He's trying to break the Gullet's blockade, and he is definitely finding the pirates a little distasteful.
Hmm.
He wants to secure the support of their armada, and he offers many golden dragons and the stepstones in exchange. After they're like, well, we want the stepstones, and he's like, but in the context of the show, we learned that Viserys was defending it most of the entire of his reign.
Yeah.
Defending the stepstones, so it was a
Well,
big
like,
deal.
or trying to get control over stepstones. Because that was more of
Hmm.
it. Like trying to like keep it
Yeah,
in lock because it's always been so like over there, you
Yeah,
know?
and that's what I'm saying. Like, because he
Yeah.
was like, it's not just some rocks. Because they were
It's
like, we
always been
want
a
control,
problem. Like, yeah, it's always been a
right?
problem.
And they thought like he wasn't just gonna just give it to them. Like, oh yeah, you can just have it. It's like
Yeah.
it's a big deal if we give you the stepstones, and he agrees, and Jefferson Hall, he portrays Tylen and sharp remnants of Tyrion. Yeah. Do you think he reminds you of Tyrion at all?
Who reminded me of Tyrion?
Like in the way he's behaving, because the article I was reading, someone described him like saying that he was coming off like Tyrion,
It was giving me Tyrion, and it was also giving me Jamie because Jamie's
the
interaction
Lannister.
with Brienne, like, like
Okay.
Brienne, like
Okay.
Tarth, like that. That's what it was. Like to me,
Hmm.
anyway. Like it gave me Jamie and Brienne because she's this big, strong woman who's tough and like not your typical lady as back in the day. They even call her like they address her like she's a man because that's how misogynistic they were. They had to think in their head this woman is a dude to follow her because she's the best of the best, and that's why she
Right.
told him like I'm not gonna sail with anyone who I can best. You
Right.
know,
And we're gonna get right into that because Admiral Lohar adds a condition to the deal. And Lohar says Lohar must go with Thailand to break the blockade. Lohar turns out to be a woman, not a man. And Lohar challenges Thailand, calling him Tywin. Oh, see what they did there? To the Lannisters, a little wink
a
wink
little
there.
nod, yeah, like
Right. To best her first. And a messy mud fight ensues. I don't have an image of that, but we'll put her back on the screen. What do you think of the character so far, of the introduction of this character?
she's funny. Like she brings much needed comic relief to the show. Like if you ask me, because the show can get really deep and dark, especially with all the Harrenhal stuff we've been seeing these past few episodes. Like there's such like comic relief when her and like all these Free City people join, and it's also a really good nod to the source material because in the Game of Thrones like universe, like the free cities like Pentos and stuff like that, the people who have blue hair and like piercings and they're just unconventional compared to like modern standards, you know? So like they veered away from that in the original show, like of the Game of Thrones. But here they're kind of like leaning into it, like the colorful hairs and the weird mustaches, and like I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. And we know they end up like mud wrestling, and that
Oh
was a
yes,
lot. I was
that was.
like, she's embarrassing him.
Yeah.
Did you see
But
that?
then
Did you?
he got a little look
Yes.
in. He got a little bow.
I'm
He
like,
got-
oh my god,
when he
we're
was
here
like, you
like,
know what, enough is enough. Bow. And then he was like, wait, did I just punch a shorty? Like,
right. He's like, I got a few licks in, and he like, I was like, is he really just gonna just get beat up by this lady right here? Like, just totally embarrassed. I was worried for him. um,
as I'm sure he was worried for himself. Like I'm
right.
getting embarrassed by this woman right now.
Yeah. Yep. So that was fun. I thought that was a really interesting part. I mean, we didn't get dragons, but we got a mud fight, and people
We
were
got a mud
talking a
fight.
lot of crap about that online too. They're like, "Really? We got a mud fight?" But I enjoyed it. I thought it was
Well,
like you
we
said,
had a battle. We had a battle in the final episode.
we needed a little,
We
we
had
needed
a
a
little
little
fight
levity,
scene. We
right?
had a little fight scene.
And ultimately, after they engage in their messy mud wrestling bout, Lohar is impressed by Thailand's strength and virility. Lohar demands Thailand to father her kids. She's like, "Come on, I got a couple of
Oh,
wives. I want you to impregnate." I was like, I didn't see that coming. I was like, "You go, gangster lady. You
right.
right."
She was like, I had a whole bevy of wives, honey.
Let's see. Let's as we move forward, we catch up with Aegon. Oof,
Oof,
Aegon, and he's
looking
in
rough.
rough. Yeah, do you see that picture on the screen?
Yes, I do. And he look
Oh
rough.
my god.
He's giving
Yeah.
Daddy Viserys at the final stages. Like,
Right, but one of the tidbits to notice is that it's on the opposite
yeah,
side, so he's like
of
a
course.
mirror.
A little contrast. Like,
Yeah, he's like a mirror of his dad in that way, instead of just being like the same.
hmm
And because they're different, where he was kind and like was trying to do for peace, Aegon was like a complete mess.
Well,
And
no,
as we
I would disagree there.
tell me,
Aegon showed very much like sympathy where the council was coming to him, people and the folk were like coming and they wanted sheep, they wanted food, they wanted
in the
money.
beginning for a
Yeah.
day, for one
No, it
day,
wasn't just, it was an episode, but it wasn't just one day. Flipped his lid when they killed his son. Anybody would. Like,
and then
all bets were off.
he hung up all the rat catchers. There's
All
no
bets
way
was
to come
off.
back on that. There's
There's no
no
way to come
coming
back
back
from
from
that.
that.
But not to defend that, but if somebody did that to my child, the world is gonna burn. The world is going to burn.
I don't think Viserys would have did that. He would
I
have
think
hung up all
Viserys,
the rat catchers in
he
the,
would have done, he wouldn't have reacted
especially
so kindly. He
no,
rode
because Otto.
the
Sorry, but
bronze
wait,
fury.
Otto was giving him his. He was taking heed from his hand, and his hand would never have okayed that. He was, he would never have okayed that. The makeup is great, same eye as Damon. Is it the same eye as Damon? There you go. So we got a lot going on, and let's get back. So yeah, so I do think that's what for me. I think that's what I interpreted the different sides being because there's differences between them, and at least how they're interpreted too by the people. Because where Viserys people were there ready to pledge to Rhaenyra up to his deathbed if that was his wish.
Yeah.
Aegon doesn't inspire anything. They're ready. I think they're ready to usurp him. The people themselves.
Hmm.
And so, we find Aegon still injured and he's asking for some rum to ease his pain. Laris visits Aegon with news about Rhaenyra's new dragon riders and Aemon's like how Aemon has burned Sharp Point. Oh my god, that was
Oh.
crazy. Like Aemon is just running amok. He is like he's ready. It's all about
Amaka maka
strategy.
maka 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 maka
What do you think
maka.
of that strategy? Burning Sharp Point, was that the right move?
Did you miss my maka maka maka
I
maka?
got
That's
it,
from. I was
Winnie,
just
and
just wanted to make sure you was here. Just wanted to make sure we was here. But what did I think of it?
yeah, with Eamon burning up Sharp Point, because at the beginning that's
It
what
was
he's doing. He's
reckless.
like,
He's
that
showing
was
the
so
aiming of his
stupid.
childhood where he's so insecure and like the little runt of the litter, like he wasn't his family. So all those insecurities did not go away. They're still embedded and made Eamon who Eamon is. Like,
Right. And when Laris is talking to him and he's trying to convince him to leave, to run away, and Aegon's just going on about his penis, how he can't, father any more heirs. Essentially, it's gone. He pees down, it dribbles down the side of his leg, and he's like, listen, you have to leave. He's like, Aemon is going to kill you if you don't leave. And
period.
Aegon, suggests planning to imprison Aemon. He's like, I'll imprison him and we'll lock him away. And Lars is like, this it's just not gonna work out. The best thing for us to do is leave.
Is
Trust me, I
is
can get
chuck
you
the
out of here.
deuces and get out of here. Heal up, like come in as a savior. Like let these two people run amok and make chaos ensue, and then come in as like, oh, remember things were not that bad when Aegon was on the throne. Like, so come back and have that like that smartness of the whole like let these people cause all this chaos, and who are they gonna, Aegon, the savior.
Well,
Aegon. Oh, and he loved
yes,
when he said
say it.
Aegon's the realm's
The the,
delight, which
the
is what
realms of
we used to
light.
call Rhaenyra when she was young, and like the young Rhaenyra, the actress who played her before, she was the realm's delight because she just was. So when he
Right.
heard that, he lit up like, oh, even Aegon, the realm's delight, like,
Mm-hmm. It was a
oh,
really nice nod to the people who know the books and know, like, have been following closely. It's like, and it shows you the competition he has in a lot of ways with Rhaenyra.
because
He's
she had
still,
everything he didn't. Like she was raised to be a ruler. Like she sat on the council. Like she took notes. She knew what was going on. She knew how to be a diplomat. He was just left to be like a straggly little boy. Go
right,
play with your swords. Go play with your sticks. Or go mess with your brother. Go mess around with your cousins. Like he wasn't
right,
taken seriously at all. He wasn't a contender.
right. And as we catch up with Aemon, he's over there deciding tighten up control on King's Landing's passages. He orders inspections of the fishing boats. That's going to worsen the starvation of the populace. He's like, they'll deal with it. We all must make our sacrifices. And he demands that Helena. He's like, did you? That part was insane. He goes to Helena, and he's suggesting that she becomes a dragon rider. What did you think of that scene? How did that hit you?
I thought it was pretty interesting because the Helena I know is different than the Helena on the show. The Helena I
Mm-hmm.
know is a dragon rider. Like it's how she feels most free. But I think they did stick true to the fact where Helena doesn't have a mean bone in her body. And she said she wouldn't mind getting on the dragon, but she's not gonna burn people
I
up.
won't burn
You know?
people. I
Yeah,
won't burn
like
people.
I'm not gonna burn people. That's not my zhuzh. Like
And
I'm not gonna burn
oh,
the innocent. Like for what? Like what purpose does that serve?
and one of my favorite lines from Allison was there. She's like, "You wish to rule the seven kingdoms, but you rain ruin and death upon its small folk when you've been insulted."
Mm.
I love that delivery. Allison, Miss Olivia Cook, she served it there. That was great. I was like,
Sends
yes,
across the
juice.
board.
Yeah. And then she goes, and now you seek to corrupt your sister, uh,
She's the most
the
innocent amongst
the
us, right?
gentlest. She's like, your sister of all our line, the gentlest and most deserving. Oh, so she has a heart. She wanted to
Now,
defend.
a little too late, Allison. Everything about you in this episode was a little too late. Like you was giving JoJo, like
you know,
girl, everything was a little too little, a little too late. Like
right,
you just realized everything when Rhaenyra came. We'll get to that later. We'll get
right.
to that later.
And so that was getting that was really a lot of high tension there. I thought that scene played well, and then he, if like Eamon walks away, kind of like pissy, and I felt like she kind of did talk a little sense into him there. Did you get that, or you just felt he was like, "I'm gonna try to work this out later. I'll be back for this." I
Wait, hold
thought
on.
she.
Repeat that. My dog
I thought that
distracted me.
Allison like talked a little bit of sense into him, like you want to rain ruin upon the small
Mm,
folk, and then you
yeah.
know, and then he does.
Yeah,
He's
because
like
he
then
does try a softer approach with her later on in the show.
right, and then remember before he does leave, he says, "Would you not have us win?" And she's like, "Not like this, not like
Yeah.
this." She's like, "We
She was
can't
trying to
do
get
this."
that Emmy. She's trying to get
Right.
that Emmy now.
She did great. You go, Olivia Cook. We love you. Not like this. It's right, girl. Not like this.
Yeah.
And we catch up. With the tensions amongst the dragon riders. Jace feeling insecure due to his status as a bastard, among the dragon riders. And we catch up with like Adam and Hugh. They behave well, but Ulf is like, dare we say,
Oh,
boorish? Yeah.
yeah.
He was,
Uncouth.
yeah, what? He was so effing annoying.
No manners, like at all. No respect. Like, who raised you, as we would say? Like,
He was raised in a gutter, clearly.
apparently.
Yeah. And this isn't from that exact scene, but it's part of part of the scenes where Ulf was in, and it was like Ulf was like mocking Jace's brown hair, his
Oh,
strong
yes.
features,
Mm-hmm.
and
So,
then
and like implying, like, you're a bastard. We're not full blood. Like, but yet here we are. You're the prince, and I'm riding a dragon. Like, and that was not the way to get on Jason's good side, like at all. You missed the mark, brother.
redirected,
Like
right?
you missed
Redirected
the
and
mark.
went to Cole. I didn't get that.
Wait, what?
Redirected. I'm reading the comments. Redirected and went to Cole. Who redirected?
Wait.
Sorry, I'm not following you. You could add into the chat what you mean. And
Oh,
yeah.
redirected. Now I just saw it. Okay, redirected and went to
hmm
go.
So, Jace feeling insecure due to his dad as a bastard. And Hugh jumps in. He's like, he doesn't know. He wasn't raised in the courts. He doesn't know anything about those are, the proper ways of behaving. And Jace proved himself to have a little dark side where he's like, well, we'll hang you in the
Oh,
street or,
yeah.
if
Jace has
anything comes.
always been. He's the past few episodes. He's been showing his dark side, calling
hmm
people mongrels and stuff like that. When you're a
Right.
bastard yourself, no disrespect, but you're technically a bastard, my guy. And
Yeah.
you're here calling people mongrels because you think you're better than them.
Yeah, and I think that only would embolden someone like Ulf if he's
Yes.
going to betray them at some point. It's like I don't want to know. I haven't read the book, and we're not doing any spoilers for anything that's not in. But if he was gonna betray
No spoilers. No
Rhaenyra
spoilers.
later, it would make sense if the way Jace is acting. I'd be like, well, fuck them anyway. I'm gonna go. You know, these guys are gonna get. I'll use my dragons for them instead because these people talk to me like I'm crap.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
Ulf
what's
just
the point?
wants more bird, and more bird and drink.
Yeah, he was so obnoxious. Like, if he was like already at the station equal to Rhaenyra.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and she makes the line like my name.
And you notice how she dressed, right? She barely wears her crown and all that regal attire, and she had to make sure her station was there and her station was respected.
Right. Yeah. In this episode, she did. Yeah, she did wear her crown, and she had like the dragon dress,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
thought that
she's
was.
always been wearing the dragon. Like that like if you look at the tiny little details of her
Mm-hmm.
clothes, she's
But no,
always had
the
like
way
this.
the dragons were on this one looked so pretty. I was really
Yeah.
impressed. I was like, oh, that looks nice. They're like right on the shoulders. It was really. I thought it was such a nice detail, like the way it looked. I was like, that. Now that's a dress there, folks.
Right.
That looks good. And yeah, he was just being a jerk. Ulf. I didn't care for Ulf. I'm like, he lost me. He
And I
lost
thought he
me.
was gonna be so kind and just like I thought he was just gonna be what the woman we were just introduced to as like comic relief. I thought he was just gonna be funny and goofy, but now he's just being plain up disrespectful.
Yeah, and
Oath can exit stage left.
right. And getting back to Rhaenyra, where she's like the knights in my court should compose himself before the queen, and he's like, you better knight me then. And it's like, excuse me. And then he's like, it'll do you guys all good with a little bit of humor or something. It's like,
Yeah.
Ulf, you're gonna die. Like I would have killed him. I'm tired. Like Rhaenyra, cheers, cheers. It's just like
Cheers to
Rhaenyra.
off getting offed.
Yeah, I would not be mad.
I would
Hopefully
not
that
be mad if
happens
he's the
soon.
first casualty in season 3. Like,
Right. He continues to test Rhaenyra and the other dragon seeds. He claims Silverwing making him indispensable, seemingly, right? And then Team Black's focus just from the deterrence to war. That was interesting because they were trying to just, oh, nobody will need a fight if they see how strong, maybe they'll surrender. That wasn't gonna happen.
yeah,
And
not
now
at
they're
all.
like in war mode. Corlys advises Rhaenyra to strike with force, believing she is ready, and the sea snake is refurbished and renamed the Queen That Never Was
Oh,
in honor of Rhaenys. We still miss
that's
you,
so cute.
Rhaenys.
We miss her.
We miss you,
And
Rhaenys.
I think the title was it? No, 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 no. It wasn't. Was it the Queen Whoever Was? Isn't that the
Yep,
same
the
name of
Queen
the
Who Ever
title? Yeah,
Was. Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's the name of the episode, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's what that
is
means.
it like a little homage to our girl? Like because she was like she should have been the Queen Whoever Was. Like
Yeah.
wow.
And or is it more like supposed to be something
For
about
Rhaenyra as well.
right,
It can be
yeah.
applied to both. Like it truly can
Mm-hmm.
be applied to both.
Right. And we get into Corliss and Alan, right? Their father and son tension heating
Oh,
up.
that was
That was a
good.
great scene. Corliss
Yes.
prepares to set sail, offering Alan advice on inspiring the crew. And then Alan is like, all right, I can try and do better. I'm not here to make friends. I didn't ask for this. And Alan recounts the deprivation, that he got, that
Hmm.
he and Adam faced while Corliss was living a beautiful life,
Yeah.
and Alan chose, he said he'll do
He
this
had
when
to
this is all
starve. Like
said
you don't
and
know
done.
what it was like for us growing up. Like that was
Right.
so poignant. And as like a child who didn't grow up with his father and saw a similar situation, like that really hit hard. It was like the Will Smith version of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air when he had that issue with his father, you know. So it was very poignant. And at that moment, I realized where I knew the actor from, and it's like a very like off. Like if you know, there was this Amazon show called Raised by Wolves
Yeah. And aren't
that
they
has,
both
and
from it?
he, well, I know he's from it for sure. Like Alan.
I think both
100.
of
As
them are
soon as
in
I
it.
saw him like in that scene, I was like, wait a minute, that's Papa from Raised by Wolves.
As I
Like
understand it, I
it
believe
just
two
hit
of the
me.
actors are in it. I don't know if it's
Oh,
Corliss.
it's not Corliss. I believe it might be the woman we met. She might be Mother,
Oh
the
yeah,
one that
that's
was
who it
with
is. Yeah,
Lannister. That's
yeah,
Mother.
yeah.
That's Mother.
There you go. Because I remember hearing about that.
Yes.
And yeah, it was pointing. He was like, I was working the markets from the fish markets from sun up to sundown and beyond, while you guys are walking by with your kids are walking
With
by
your
with furs
furs.
on their necks, and I'm
Oh, ho.
starving. Me and my brother are starving. It was really just like he definitely
You mentioned furs.
right.
They, they, they will walk around with
Right.
furs on their neck.
Okay, Peter, throw a bucket of paint on this guy.
It's
You
red. It
know,
don't matter. It don't matter.
get some
That's why I get all my
green.
furs in red. So if Peter
Either
throws something at it, it just adds to it,
get some
baby.
green or black
It
paint.
just
Throw both on him.
how
Okay.
dare you?
You must choose a side. Okay, and then we
I'm
move.
team black.
Right.
You know a team green when you see one. My friend here, my
Listen,
Allison's over here. The Allison to my Rhaenyra.
he would have been gone with no dragon. That's the comment we got. Yeah. I believe you're talking about uh, Ulf.
I
Yeah,
love how
Ulf
that's the
suck.
way you stated it. This is the comment we got.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, ma. I'll just.
Exactly. Like that's not your own mom. Like this is the comment we got. Hey,
You
Mama
gotta
Lou.
read, because I wasn't sure if you could see the comment.
I can see it.
Okay, great. And so we move on. Yes, that was. I would have definitely. He would have had to go, and he would have left with no dragon. The dragon would have to move forward, and we have Alfred's treachery, right? So Broom's betrayal. Sir Alfred Broom arrives at Harrenhal, suggesting Damon declare himself king. Damon responds warily, saying, "I never took you for a turncloak, Sir
Mm,
Alfred." Sir
I would.
Simon.
Yeah.
Sir Simon Strong witnesses the exchange and sends a raven to warn Rhaenyra. As Jimmy Moonshine said, if I send you a picture of that, just know I heard your little conversation.
Period.
So, yeah, that was a moment.
That was
uh,
a moment.
right. Damon is hesitant about betraying Rhaenyra, showing his loyalty, but he doesn't quite reveal his hand, like what he'll do yet, because
Yeah,
they
he
still
doesn't
gotta.
reveal his hand quite yet, but I thought that was interesting that this guy, he was like, "Oh, I pledge my allegiance to you, Rhaenyra. Like you are the queen. Like I will never disrespect your father. Like you are who he chose, and blah 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 blah." Talking out his mouth, and then as soon as he had the opportunity to stab her in the back, he took it. So
Yeah,
I hope Damon. I was about to call him Damon. I hope Damon chops his little head off because you're not loyal. Like I don't want you on my team. If you're so quick to switch it up, you gotta go.
right.
You're
Give him
so
one of
quick
these
to turn
chops.
cloaks, you got to go. Exactly. Give him one of those.
Right.
Or
Right.
like he did when they called Rhaenyra's children bastards. You can keep your tongue. I'm just gonna chop off the little top of your head. You can keep your tongue.
Right. Oh, we do get into Damon's vision,
Mm.
right? That was pretty much the next thing. Alice Rivers talking to Damon, and she
That
brings him
whole
to.
scene was interesting. And did you notice the little children of the forest?
Yeah, we're gonna get into it. Let's walk them through it.
Yeah.
Damon communes with the castle's heart tree, the werewood tree, seeing his future vision. He puts his hand on George R. R. Martin's face. If anybody who's at home and didn't know, that was a little Easter egg they put in there. And I have some images here. Let me see if I can share with you. Yeah, there we go. So he ends
Oh,
up Yep, he ends up seeing the three-eye raven, right? So that was pretty cool. What did you catch everything, or did you have to go back, or did you catch a lot, pretty much all of it as it was going?
I think I caught pretty much all of it as it was going because, like I said, I was screaming in my room. Like I
Right.
really like as we go on, I'll tell you what made me scream the most as we fast forward through these images. Because the shadow had me, a shadow had me at the top of my seat. But
Is
then I was
it
like,
this one? I kind of try to bring
no,
up the contrast.
that one had me going. That was the Children of the Forest. That had me like, oh, maybe there's like a secret tunnel. Like maybe there's a passageway in Harrenhal that leads to like where the Children of the Forest. They're not dead like everybody thinks. In my head, Harrenhal is the way Harrenhal is because all the magic of the Children of the Forest is like either underneath it or it leads to a portal or something like that, where the Children of the Forest are still very much alive because they're supposed to be dead at this point, like long dead, like
At
centuries
that
dead.
point in the show, I mean the story,
Yes, they're supposed to be dead, dead, like gone. They're supposed to be when the freaking Seven of the Kingdoms was brought together. The Children of Horrors were dead because the first men killed them all years and years ago. So even before the conquering of the Seven Kingdoms, the Children of Horrors were supposed to be dead.
okay,
But they're
yeah,
very much alive. They're very much alive, according to this, anyway.
right. I'm like, that was that
Yeah.
vision.
But they always had like rumors that they still exist because even in the source material for the original series of the Game of the Thrones, Daenerys's girl, what's her name again? Give me her name.
The
Beautiful. Uh,
the one who gets murdered.
yes, the one she rescued, that Cersei.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. We all know who.
Masandi, something
Yes.
like yes,
Yeah. We know
her.
who you're talking about.
In the
Yeah.
books, she's rumored to like it's like
Mm.
implied that she might be a child of the forest. She's about like 4 feet tall. She's supposed to only be 12 years old. They aged her up, obviously, like they did with most of the characters, because if
Was
you
she
had them at
having that
their appropriate.
relationship in the book?
No, because she was a child.
Okay. Well, in
Yeah,
this show,
you
you
know?
gotta ask.
Yeah, I know. Because it's very problematic, like with some of the stuff that goes on. So I'm gonna say no. But
Right.
in the book she has the yellow like cat like eyes. She speaks
Mm.
like 7 languages and she's only 12. Like so 12, but she's clearly like probably 1200, you know? And she's a child of the forest.
Okay.
Allegedly.
And
Allegedly.
so we know we saw the white,
The
the
White
White
Walkers.
Walker.
We saw
Yeah, we
those.
saw the White Walkers. The king.
We
He
saw.
was
Well, he might
the
not have
knight.
been the king because remember they switched him up. Like he's the one that we saw in the first season
Okay.
of the Game of the Thrones because he wasn't
Right.
like he had the long hair like the one we saw on season 1, but he didn't have like the ice crown like the one we saw
Mm.
at the end.
Right. Do you think we're gonna encounter these people in this show, or it's only gonna be like? Do you think they'll work that in?
We might have flashes. Like we might have flashes, but they
Because
keep
they
saying
keep
winter's
saying winter
coming,
is coming. Yeah, I'm like,
but winter didn't come back then.
right.
It
I
didn't
yeah,
come
I
back then.
got that idea. I was pretty
Yeah.
sure that doesn't happen, but I'm just wondering where they might take it. And then one of the things they got the internet talking.
Yes. My mom
Right.
saw that scene today. I just got my mother a coot. Shout out to my mom, Blanca.
Hey,
I love you.
Mama,
Mwah.
Mama Blanca.
Um,
Hey.
she just wrapped up season 1 of Game of Thrones, and that was the scene she saw. And I was like, that's what he saw." She was like, "That is like that is." So it was so cute, like to see her watching the show. Like I wish I was like watching all this right now, like for the first time, because it's like so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Right. So, he does see a vision where, the Song of Ice and Fire takes him.
Yeah, it takes him to
And,
the Game of Thrones. Like it takes him
right,
to the yeah, it takes him to the Game of Thrones.
right. So he sees the Game of Thrones. He sees,
He sees everything, the whole Ice and Fire. He sees it wrapped up, like all 8 seasons. He sees in like 5 seconds.
right. That was pretty interesting. And that
The dead
shot,
dragons. Oh, the dead dragons in the vision that he had.
mm,
It showed
I
Melee's,
feel like I didn't
and I
catch it. I
think
think it was like,
Vagar was behind him, and like it just kept going. Like it was like dead dragon after dead dragon after dead dragon after Melee's.
right. And if you can see the picture on the screen, they did show the three-eyed raven who was stuck in the tree now, but he was younger than he was in Game of Thrones. It's like
Very much, very younger.
yeah, like 300 years or 200 years at least younger. So there was that. Yeah, I
And he's
thought
a Targaryen. Well, a
right,
Rivers, like a Targaryen bastard.
right. Let's see. Yeah, that was really fascinating. I was really into it. That vision was blew me away. I was like,
Well,
whoa.
Helena's part in that vision blew me away because I think that they definitely went in a whole different direction with Helena from her book character because she's not a prophet at all in the book. But this makes it so much more interesting, and I think she's a major player in like what's going on. What was behind the scenes in the first two seasons that we had no idea about. Like my theory is that she played her part to make sure that Dany and Jon Snow are in the places that they need to be in the future. You know? So she
Hmm.
that's why she even told as we well, we'll get to what she told Aemon later on. But what she told Aemon was very much like,
Spoilers.
like this is what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. Like and it doesn't matter if you kill me right now because now all the pieces, as Alex Rivers said, all the pieces are in play. Like
Right.
the piece on the board, everything is where it needs to be to ensure that we end winter. You know?
Right. I thought that was really interesting. I thought she so let's just get into it because we did kind of touch through everything that goes on in the vision. We didn't mention how he ends up seeing himself also like floating in the water. There
Yeah.
was that moment that was pretty cool. And then Helena at the end, our girl, she ends up he sees her and she's like, you know what you must do. And I'm like, oh whoa, she's seeing all this. This is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
And
the fact
Aemon
that
comes
she's tuned into his vision, like,
right.
whoa. Like,
Yeah,
whoa.
she got the power. And then, she's talking to Eamon, or Eamon, that's when he tries to come all nice and he's like,
Oh
you
yeah,
should
trying to sweet
really.
talk her. But remember,
Right.
he said that he would marry her and he loved her even when he was a little boy. If you go back to season one, because Aegon
Mm-hmm.
was like, I would never like, ew, nope, not for me. Like that's
Right.
what that was how Aegon was in season one, and Aemon was like, yeah, I'm married. That's my duty. Like I would do that if I had to. Like that's
Right.
our way. That's the Targaryen way. We about that incest life.
Right. Now, I remember you brought a theory to me, and maybe it was based off of the books. Uh, but do you think that in this show that Aegon is supposed to be the father of Helena's kids?
I think like it might be like I don't know, like all history is open to interpretation, like because it's written by like third parties and stuff like that, like people who have no idea the interlinglings of what's going on. So there was no Maury Povich back in the day. For all my millennials out there, there was no Maury to determine whether or not you were or were not the father. Like
Mhm.
you just had to like maybe kind of look like me, maybe like that same twinkle in the eye, but yeah, there was no definitive proof. There was no paternity test
Right.
in Westeros. Maybe
Okay.
like
Yeah.
piss on a bale of hay, or, like on a bale of hay type
Right.
stuff, but there was no definitive like you are the father.
Yeah. Yeah, because you shared that theory with me, and I was like, I keep waiting to see if they're gonna uncover it.
The theory I
Huh.
was wrong about was Alice Rivers. She's clearly not a ghost.
Right, right. Yeah, they definitely made that clear.
They made that very clear. She was not a ghost, but she's
Eamon
a
was
witch.
right,
She's
right.
giving my red queen. She's giving my where my red cape. She's giving the red witch the house of the dragon. She's giving the red witch of the house of the dragon. Let
Right.
me let me switch into my red witch attire for a little
Okay.
bit.
There you go. We're happy to see it. And So he does have that vision, and then Helena. What you want to break down a little bit of that scene that was going on with Helena and Eamon, that exchange where she starts telling him, he's telling her, you got to get on the dragon, and she's like, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna burn anybody.
like
She's
I'm not
like,
gonna burn anyone. Like that's I'm gentle. Like we can, if we're gonna go about what we're gonna go about, we can do it without so much bloodshed. Like the women have shown a very like typical, like I won't say typical, but typical, like a gentler nature. Like we don't need all this bloodshed. Like the whole point is like you men are idiots. Like you just want to stab people and kill people. Like we don't need to go this route. There's a diplomatic way to go. Like we can resolve all of this with a conversation. But you stupid boys want to just like kill, 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 kill. But you don't want to listen to us ladies, and us ladies have the whereabout, like the mind to end this all like peacefully. But you guys don't want that. You want to like have a sword measuring contest. Who's the biggest? Who's the baddest? Like, get over yourself. If Eamon didn't have Vagar, Eamon would still be that scared little boy he was in season one. Like he would be nothing. He would not be even. He wouldn't even be a piece on the board at all. He would be a
right,
pawn at the very least.
right, and yeah, and Helena ends up telling him, you will get swallowed up in the God's eye. That you,
Yeah,
eh,
like she told him, like you're dead, you're gone. Like even if
yeah,
you kill me now, like I said, the pieces I set, I took it like her being a gangster. The pieces I set in motion already done, honey. You could kill me. It's a wrap. Like the future is secure. The future is
right,
secure. Like winter
and
won't be coming for long.
she
Like,
says that great line where she's like, "Will you burn me like Aegon did?" And he's like you did Aegon." And he's like, "I didn't do
mm.
that." She's like, "I saw it." And he's like, "Oh,
She's like, I think you can't fool me, honey. Profit
right."
2020.
And nobody even doubts her when she says things like that. They're like, "Damn it, she is a
Not at
little
all.
weirdo. She's a little weirdo." She probably did see it. Uh, so we get. Let me see. So yeah, we had that moment, the exchange, and he kind of walks away a little bit like he doesn't know what to do. Do you think,
Yeah,
by the way, while we're talking, do you think we will see her on a dragon before the show's end?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
So we do find Rhaenyra. She
Yeah,
is at Harrenhal.
of
And
all
she goes,
places.
right, she has to go because your man, Sir Simon, sent that raven, and it's like she takes Alan with her, right? She's like, Alan, come with
Wait, my
me
man is Sir Simon. Who? Wait.
because he hears the gossip.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's my boo. I thought my boo was Khal Drago.
My boo is Kristen
Oh,
Cole. We didn't even mention him this episode. Before we even get any further, let's talk
Sir
about that.
Kristen Cole.
You know what? Actually, we'll get through all the main points and we'll come back to some of the things.
We'll
Let's
circle
not.
back to Mr. Christian Christopher Cole.
Yeah, let me write that down. Kristen Cole and Bela, we're gonna talk about because we gotta.
Kristen Cole and his bulls.
Right. So sorry. Let me get back in there. Let me just. So yes. So we do end up back in Harrenhal. Let me pull up a picture for the folks at home to see the beautiful moment. Okay. So we did have Damon. It was like a big grand moment. Like Rhaenyra lands over there on at Harrenhal, and
Yeah.
she arrives on her dragon. What is it, Syraxis? Syraxis? Yeah. She
Wait, see, Cyrax.
right. Or
Rhaenyra,
is it-
right? You're talking about
Uh-huh.
Rhaenyra? Cyrax.
Right. So do 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 do. Yeah, where's my yeah, she's on Cyrax and
Oh, where did I
you
go?
know, oh you, yeah, so she ends up walking through and she's like, what's
Oh,
going
where I
on?
go?
Like, where's Damon? And so Simon's like, I fear treachery was a brew. And she's like, all right, bring me the Damon. And she comes walking through and everybody stops to look at her. And she's just like, staring, and this woman, this person, uh, never smiles ever. In this, like the last time that they smiled, that this character smiled, was when they were a child, and there's no more smiles. And I feel like almost the same is to be said about Allison. Like
Wait,
the characters don't
who we
have
just?
joy.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra, they don't
Oh yeah.
smile anymore. Like you're not gonna say, there's none of that. There's none of that from
Mm,
Allison. There's none of that from
yeah.
Rhaenyra. Like, there's no smiles. You can't think of like a moment where they've smiled about anything. It's so sad. Even when
Yeah.
anything's going on, it's almost like she doesn't even smirk. I haven't even got a smirk from Rhaenyra yet.
We got no. We got smirks. No, we definitely got a smirk from Rhaenyra.
When?
Yes. When. Oh wait, you're putting me on the spot right now. But there was a scene where like they said something twisted to her, like about like fudge. But there was like where they really cut to her close up, like they zoom in on her face, and she goes from like kind of like pissed off, but there's a little like, I can't give it to you right now, like honestly, but I will come back to you and leave it on the comment section for people who are gonna watch later, like and come back to the show. It will be in
Right.
the comments. I guarantee you, because there was a scene where she gives you a little like she gives you a smirk where she's like proud, like more of a proud smirk than like a like ha 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 smirk, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And so Damon does come up to her, and he is walking through, and we're like, "Uh-oh, is this gonna get ugly? Like, what is gonna happen?" So he's walking up to her, and she's just like, "What's about to happen?" Her dragon Cyrax is there in the cut, like, "Let's see what you about. Like, I'll burn everybody in this whole thing if you try it with Rhaenyra." And he ultimately ends up, uh, again publicly pledging his sword to Rhaenyra, and we got a comment. Yeah, publicly pledging his sword to Rhaenyra, and it was a moment. And yeah, Damon taking a knee. Yeah, that was a great scene. I agree. That was like, it was a
Where he like
moment.
pledged his allegiance, like, because he's always a question mark. He's always a question mark. So
Right.
the fact that he like pledged his allegiance and gave that whole like war cry, like Mel Gibson and like, like,
Braveheart. I got the same vibe, like very
right?
Braveheart. Right. I was like, yay! I want to see Damon, just completely back on Team Rhaenyra. No
Yeah,
more betrayal. No more taking. And
I hope so.
she says, leave me at your peril. Like,
Bell, but you said that before.
and that was like, I felt a little bit of their love affair with that one. It was kind of like a
They're
wife
real,
telling their
yeah.
husband, like, don't do that to me again.
More like
Like,
her niece telling her uncle, "Don't tell me to do that
in
again."
this case, the same thing. In this case, the same thing.
Cause that's wild. But oh yeah,
So, our fave, there she goes. We love her. We love you, Rhaenyra.
I was thrown off by a comment. Hold on. Okay, yeah, go back. What were we talking about? Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw a comment. It
So,
threw me off.
yeah. So, yeah, Rhaenyra, she was giving it. So that was a strong scene. I agree. The acting was on point, and Rhaenyra, she's done whole episodes where she either has one line, mostly one line, or no line. In fact,
No, don't discredit my girl.
no,
Don't
no, I'm saying that's
discredit.
how
Like,
powerful as an
yeah,
actor that they are.
cause she
Like
be
this
saving her
person can
line.
say
Right.
nothing,
Well, they
and
be
it's like,
saving their lines, I should
whoa.
say, because they identify as
Yeah, that's why
non-binary.
I said this
Yeah,
person
yeah,
serves like
yeah.
all the acting through their face, and you still feel their presence in a big way. Like some
And
of the
those wigs are
RC.
unclockable. Like some of the wigs are
Okay,
tragic, but their wig is unclockable. Like,
right, and yeah, and we move forward. Any final thoughts about that? About Damon and Rhaenyra in that moment.
I just thought it was really, like he's been so like just a giant question mark. He's been the Riddler. Like he's just been. questionable. So I hope that his alliance to her now is legit. But he's gonna do what he's gonna do. So we shall see. Like, time will tell if he's truly Team Black or if he has his own agenda.
Right. I like to hope.
Oh, the other point I had was also the misogyny of it all. Like that just hit, like bullet point. Um, how she's so diplomatic, but at the end of the because she put these plans in motion. Like she sent him there. Like she put these plans. She's so diplomatic, and it took the men that were there to follow a man to follow her. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
like because they weren't just gonna align to her. If he said he was gonna rule on his own, they would have followed him.
Right. I did get that feeling too.
So it
I
was
did get
very
that
much like
feeling.
playing into the whole misogyny of what it was back then in Westeros, you know?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I know they
Oh, look
are
at
like
this beautiful family portrait.
right. I know they're crazy
They're forming
together.
a whole heart. They're forming a whole heart. They're giving Jon Snow and Daenerys but opposite because Daenerys is the auntie and Jon Snow was the nephew. Oh,
Oh,
spoiler alert! If you didn't know from Game of Thrones that aired like 5, 6, 7 years ago, my bad. Keep up.
right. Right. The auntie. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. You
There's no
didn't know.
sorry. I do not apologize for what I said. As Nene Leaks would say, I said what I said. You would not be
Um,
watching House of the Dragons if you didn't watch Game of Thrones. Like, sorry guys. Sorry
I
guys.
think there are
But
some
that's
new viewers
also
out there.
HBO's interpretation. We do not know what George R. R. Martin has in store for us if he finally gets these books done. Because it
All
could be
right.
a whole different outcome. But we're going by
Right.
HBO. HBO made it to the fact
Okay.
that
And
these
let's
people are
get
XYZ.
we're gonna wrap this up soon, so let's keep it going. We're gonna get into Rhaenyra's midnight visitor, honey, because you know when the hotline bling, it could only mean one thing. It was Allison. It was like I wasn't expecting her. Were you expecting her?
They had to because these two actresses together are phenomenal. So it will be distasteful on their part to not have them do another scene together.
Yeah, I was just like, let me throw that picture up while we discuss it.
And
So
when she popped
Rhaenyra,
up, she was like, "Why are you here? Like, we got
right?
beef. Why are you here?"
Right. So let's discuss it, right? Rhaenyra returns to Dragonstone and receives a midnight visit from Alicent. You know, they discuss their issues and past grievances, sniping at each other. Alicent admits placing Aegon on the throne was a mistake, believing it was Viserys' wish, though. And she realizes the patriarchy, you know, she served us faulty. You know, she wants to make amends. And Alicent's sacrifice, the proposal she has to end the war, she reveals that she wants to leave with her daughter and granddaughter, offering Rhaenyra the throne, right? She's like,
Mm,
you can have it all. Rhaenyra says,
no,
she says, it's so lovely that you still think you can walk away with your hands clean from
yeah,
all of
no,
this, that you can just go. And it's not that, Allison. You can't do that. After
yeah, no,
everything you started, you don't
yeah.
just get to do that.
Addison is bugging. Addison is bugging.
Yeah, and Rhaenyra's like, I must take his head. The people will never accept me unless I take Aegon's head. Do you agree? Because if not, just walk right out the door. And I was almost like, wait, because she's like, what should I do with you? It made it sound. She's like, let me go. And I was like, oh, is she about to say
I'm about
like,
to put you in a dungeon, bitch.
yeah?
Like,
I was like, oh shit, she's gonna take a captive. I was like, this is gonna be crazy for next season. I was like,
yeah,
but
because no,
but
like,
they wouldn't care about the queen anyway. Would they? Like they don't miss her. They
no,
wouldn't do
not at
anything.
all. They wouldn't care.
She's like bad
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 strategy.
yeah, it wouldn't
Because
have made a
no,
difference.
because Allison finally like Allison didn't have no like come of heart. Like we giving her too much credit. She realized that everything she set in motion to tarnish Rhaenyra's name about there's no possible way a woman could ever rule the seven kingdoms is what Allison kept pushing down everybody's throat. Absolutely not. My son, my man, the the boy I pushed from my womb is supposed to be the king. Like a king is respected, a queen is to not be respected. And then what she want to come and become? The queen. And then everybody shut her down. Yeah, everybody shut you down because you kept implying that women should not are not fit to rule.
Right.
You yourself, Allison, was pushing that narrative to diminish Rhaenyra, and then it backfired on your ass.
Right. Yeah, it's true. It's so true.
It backfired on your ass. You lost. Like your whole argument of why your son should be king and Rhaenyra should not is because she's a woman. And then they're like, oh, we need somebody to rule right now because your son is messed up in the game. He burnt to a crisp. He can't even piss. So who should rule now? And she's like, me? No. You just kept saying that women should not rule, and now you want to rule? Have a seat. You're irrelevant.
Right.
You're dismissed. Go do domestic work.
The entire season,
As her
uh,
son told her, like, go do
he has
domestic work. That was
been
a homage.
conflicted,
Yeah.
and the passion was so intense. Allison realized that she was wrong and misunderstood. Yes, she did realize she was wrong and misunderstood everything.
Like I said, like JoJo, little too late, Miss
Right.
Allison.
And
Because when
so,
I came to you, you told me it's too late. You can't. Blood has been spilled. Like you were very much that person when Rhaenyra came to see you. Blood has been shed. You cannot undo what has been done. And then when you want to say the same exact thing Rhaenyra came and tried to tell you years ago, but in this show days ago, because we've hit the fast forward button, you want to hit her with the same exact logic that she tried to bring to you so many episodes back. Now you
right,
want to be on, and now it's too little, too late, bitch. Now
right.
there's no coming back.
So,
Now there's
and
been
we
too much
do get, but
bloodshed.
Allison does concede. She says she's gonna let Rhaenyra do it. You can take his head. Rhaenyra's like, fine. She's like, look, they're gonna leave in 3 days. You come, and I'll convince Helena to let you get on the throne. She's like, will you? Will you do that? All right, let's see what's going to happen. So, the episode's wrapping up. They're like, okay. We catch up and we see all the marching forces, right? We see Allison. She's out there looking beauty. She's in the looking out onto the into the open field, but then it's contrasted because we see everything. We see everybody where they are, and get heading to the blockade, to stop to end that, and
Yeah.
they ultimately end on this great shot, and we have this image. Let me remove this comment so we can see it more clear. And yeah, so we see this image, and I think our ticker is hiding it, but you do see. Let me see something. Yeah, there we go. You see Allison there on the bottom picture,
Yep.
and she is like looking out into the open, and like the world is before her pretty much. And then we have Rhaenyra, who it's like her whole family history is there, and it's almost trapping her. She's trapped with her duty that she has. And it's a great last image. It's a great last image, and so yeah. So Jimmy, why don't you step away for a second if you need to, and then we can. I'm gonna just wrap up a little bit here. I'll talk to you in a sec, and there's just some last thoughts that I have about this moment. It was beautiful. I got to see so much happen here. It was like Allison. I felt like she redeemed herself. I'm not gonna lie. I think there was all that she could do. Right, like all she could do is try to right her wrong. She's not a perfect person, and like she says, one of the lines that she says earlier that we quoted was, "It seems like I've endeavored all my life to serve, and none of it matters." Was that Otto Hightower in one of the carts? Not in a cart, but he was in a cage. Ma, he was in a cage, and I think there's someone that's alluded to in the books that I was hearing in someone else's breakdown about that. It's probably one of those families. I forget which one it was, but there is a family that more than likely that was supposed to be that has him. So we'll see how that ends up going. We'll see how that ends up going for Mr. Otto Hightower. I wasn't expecting that because I believe it's him in the book who who goes to the gullet to end the blockade, and he's instead of Thailand. So they changed things around a little bit. So I think that makes it interesting. And then just some little bit last points of some things that went on the episode that we didn't talk about. We did see Christian Cole being talked to by Sir Gawain, and he was saying, "Let me just put this back." He was he was looking at his little picture, not his little picture. He was looking at his the handkerchief given to him. Let's find the picture of that because that was so sweet, and we love a chance to see Christian Cole on our screen. He was given a pic. He was looking at. Let me see, Christian Cole.
I'm
He's
back.
looking at the. Yeah, Christian Cole. It was so cute. He was looking at the handkerchief.
Yeah, and I heard the other high tower too. Like definitely, he was the one who brokered the brigade and not Mr. Lannister. But I like the way the show handled it.
Right. Yeah, I thought that it just gives us more mystery, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was digging. I was digging that part, but yeah, getting back into the part with the House of the Dragon finale. Let me look up Christian Cole. I want to put the picture up. I wasn't planning to put a picture up of it, but I think it would be nice to see our
Not the
man.
picture of Kristen Cole from my phone, right?
You know what? I'm gonna just put. We'll just save this image to download because he was. Oh, there it goes. Is that it? No. Oh, I think that is it. Let's
Sir
see.
Christopher Cole.
Yeah, so he was reflecting, and Sir Gawain like puts a knife to his neck, his sword to his throat, and is like, "Listen, you have no shame." And he's like, "Look, I'm not without shame. I know I did something wrong, but
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't matter anymore. The dragons dance, and we're dust under their feet, bro. Like, what can I do? I had sex with your sister, and it was good. It was all that. At least I had that because we're heading off to certain doom. We're heading off to certain doom. It's like, man, it's gonna get ugly the whole entire season. He was conflicted. Okay, I was wondering who he was.
Oh, and
Yeah,
every time he did something so wrong, did you notice he kept cleaning his sword, cleaning his cape, cleaning his armor? Because
right,
he's so about purity and about being like a white cloak that every time he does something like crazy, like witnessing what Aemon did to his brother Aegon, like and not saying anything and like being so compliant with all these things that go against his moral compass, which is what he always claimed because that was his whole higher ground against Rhaenyra. Like he said, Rhaenyra had no morals, but he had all the morals, and he's going against all his own morals. So every time he breaks his morals, he makes sure his sword is shiny and beautiful. His armor is clean. Like he has to clean himself physically to clean himself from the dirt that he's been doing.
right. There's definitely that. You could see he was poor guy, poor
The
guy.
whole season, he's been like scrubbing that sword, scrubbing his cloak, scrubbing his armor, like because he knows he a dirtbag.
Right. Yeah, he wasn't doing right, and he was conflicted, but I think he does speak a lot of sense. He's like, look, it was a lot of
Mm.
craziness that went on.
No,
Um,
he a dirtbag. Sorry, agree to disagree. He a dirtbag.
I wasn't
There's no,
mad.
there's no redemption for Mr. Christian Cole.
All right, can you talk for like 5 seconds? I'll be right back, and just
Of
talk to
course.
people about like your theories for next season, if anything. I'll be right
I'll
back.
keep on going on my tangent on Mr. Kristen Cole and, and how I think that he is just like unstable. Like he's not someone you want to trust. Like he thinks as a warrior and he's not that strategic. Like he is accusatory towards Rhaenyra about how she's lustful and like it's free and all that. But he wants those same things, but he's so attached to like what he's bringing, like his moral code and how he grew up, that he refuses to acknowledge his wrong. So and in doing so, he's making sure his outer appearance is cleansed and to absolve himself from his inner sins. Like, you know?
Yeah, I think that he's a really interesting character. I don't want to see him go. I don't want to see him die. Don't kill
Yeah.
him, guys. Just
No,
don't kill
exactly. He's
him.
too interesting, but he's crazy. And also the fact that he's Dornish. Like the Dornish have so many interesting like facts in the like Game of Thrones universe. Like the fact that he's Dornish and in the middle of all of this, like is beyond. Like beyond. Okay, Aegon came back. Aegon is here. The the rightful heir to the Team Green anyway. Team
Right.
Green
I figured
anyway.
it'd only be fitting I wrap it up with my.
Okay.
I had to do it for the people, That's
I
how we started
see.
our season, so I had to do it right. And yeah, so that was something I didn't want to leave without touching on that. And I want more from him. I want more.
He has
I
a lot
want to
more to
see.
give. 100%.
Yeah.
Like his character has a lot more to give. Like whether they stick to source material or not, like that character is interesting.
And let's talk about another
And I think
character
they
with a
need
lot to
to focus
give.
more on his
Yeah.
Dornish heritage. Like they need to focus more on that because that's out of place for the
We,
times.
we're gonna have to do a show next week. Still, just talk about some of our theories because
Yeah, just to wrap everything up, like in a
yes,
more tight knit
like
bow.
after we've separated from the show, the episode for a little bit,
Yeah.
and we'll come back. And then we can't not talk about Reina. I think he was. I think he will leave with Allison. Maybe that would be a nice ending for them. I like that. What do you think, Steven? You think Cole will leave with Allison? Will they get a happy ending?
No.
Okay, we'll leave it at
I'm
that.
a cynic. I'm a cynic. Like I don't know because he's just so like he's going down a path that I just don't see him like he's trying to like absolve himself from everything. So he might like become how Cersei had that religious man in power and he just got drunk with power and just was about all purity and all that. I think maybe that's where Mr. Kristen Cole is going. Not that he's like that in the books, but how the show is going, I think that's how it might be going, where he's just so about purity that he might just defect from all of it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. And yeah, let's talk about Reina. There's a lot of talk going on how she's got pretty
Nettle's
much
character,
right. Yeah,
because she has
and
her own dragon in the books, like as a little pink dragon. She got a little pink dragon,
right.
but now
Yeah,
she's claiming Sheep Stealer, who's one of the biggest dragons, free dragons that are out there, like the second largest free dragon that's out there.
right. There we go. Yeah, that's like I like the story where it's going, but she was like someone describes like she ran the Olympics, like she was out there just like running,
She was
ready to catch.
Shakara.
Yeah, she was out there, and I read in the books that I think it was, or sorry, I think I was hearing one of my ladies on Screen Crush break it down that like Nettles was bringing sheeps to Sheep Stealer, like trying to
Yep, to
get
get him.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
Nettle's
just
character was interesting. I'm disappointed that we don't get to see her. But like because it brought like more legitimacy to like the end of the Targaryen rule, you know?
right,
That it
right,
doesn't need to be because she would be literally the only person to ride a dragon on the show that has no Targaryen, Valyrian, anything blood. Like just
right,
a regular schmegula degula girl from the streets who was like, I'm gonna claim me this dragon. Oh, you want to terrorize my city? Okay, I got you. Let me feed you some dragons, and I'm gonna claim you. She's the definitive moment that anybody can be a dragon rider. You do not need 1 ounce of Targaryen or Valyrian blood.
right.
So
And it
I
seems
think
like
it's a
so far on the
disservice.
show,
Like it's
they're
a
like leaning
disservice.
towards that
Yeah,
it's still some kind of blood at
I
this.
love it, but I feel like it's a disservice to like the character, and I think even George R. R. Martin feels the same way because he had a lot to say, but he was like, "I'm not gonna say it just now," and he said it when that episode aired. Like,
Right. Yeah. pretty interesting. And we know that in the book, she's supposed to be about 16 and she has a relationship with Damon also. And they got clearly they're getting rid of that because the character doesn't exist. So, there's a lot
Definitely.
going on there that when changing that. And I think, for the sake of, I guess, having to get the show to be tight and I guess pretty much
No,
for that.
I think it's still messed up because the same way Daenerys is like 12 in the books, she's a grown ass woman in the Game of Thrones. So like they could have made Nettles a grown woman and still have her character there because it still showed the importance that you don't need royal blood, not even an
I get
ounce of
that
it,
part, but
to
did you
claim
really
a
want to see
god.
Damon betray Rhaenyra?
No, but I don't care about scrapping the love affair. I just am upset that Nettles is not there at all.
Mm,
Like, I don't care about the love affair. You could scrap that if you want because, like, whatever. But even though it would add more drama, it's at the
right.
same point where it's like Nettles is such an important character because she shows that you do not have to have an ounce of royal blood to ride a dragon, while everybody else, even the bastards that they found, have at least an ounce of royal blood in them. Like maybe a great 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 grandfather or a grandma. Like doesn't matter. But Nettles had none of that. Like
Right.
none of that, and she claimed the dragon. So to lose a character of such importance is a bit crazy.
Yeah, I can see. I can see why people. I think the internet was a little upset with that. And I did want to go in. There were some things I pulled up from speaking of the internet, from the interwebs. It's just some comments. I can't put them all up on the screen. Let me see if any of them were able to go. Let's see. Just to wrap it up, there were some things, and people put this one up, and I was just like, "Hey, Paola Hot D on Twitter." She said, "You stand in the presence of Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, rightful heir to the Iron Throne, rightful Queen of the Andals and the First Men, protector of the Seven Kingdoms, the Mother of Dragons, the Khaleesi of Great Grass Sea, the Unburnt." The breaker of chains. I was like, oh, this person
Okay,
on
Lord
Twitter
Mormont.
this person on Twitter, they went in. I was so pleased. I was like, all right, I wanted to share that one. There's a couple comments. Not all of them were able to upload, unfortunately, but I'll read through some of them just to wrap up some of the feelings that were going
Emilia
around.
Clarke was gonna make an appearance. I screamed out the freaking top of my lungs when they just showed that shadow on the Iron Throne after they showed that scene of her with the dragons. I thought she was gonna pop up like, pay attention, follow the
Right.
course so that I can sit upon this throne. But nope, it was Rhaenyra.
Helena, right? Or
No, it
Rhaenyra.
was
Okay.
Rhaenyra. It was
Mhm.
Rhaenyra.
Uh, Someone said, and their name is TSOGL on Twitter. They said, hiring all of these good actors for Hot D to have them act in the same boring, one-dimensional way all the time is crazy. Eve Best is an exa- is a she said best example is Eve Best, Rhaenys. She could do so much more, and from what I hear from the book, from her book version, but she was butchered in the show anyway. As for
Yep,
GOT, they did the opposite. Somehow managed to milk some great performances out of some not so great actors. What do you think of that?
I agree wholeheartedly because they missed a step with Rhaenys, even though she's amazing on the show because Eve Best is amazing. But Rhaenys, like I said in the books, she has hair as black as night, which shows legitimacy to Rhaenyra's children because Rhaenys is related to them, and Rhaenys is Baratheon and Targaryen. So like that blood exists within the Targaryen lineage. So it shows legitimacy towards Rhaenyra's children. So like it's people can question whether or not they're bastards or whether or not it's just, it skipped a generation.
Mm,
So the
okay.
fact that like they missed that plot of who she is and also just how badass Rhaenys is in the books. Like she's badass on the show, but she's more badass in the source material.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I don't necessarily agree with that person. I think that I didn't find that everybody was serving one dimensional. I didn't think that was a
No,
fair
I don't think she's
assessment.
one dimensional at all,
No,
but I
no,
think
because
she
they were saying that the people on the show, unfortunately, like all seemingly are getting one-dimensional
Oh
portrayals. And I
no,
didn't
that
find
part
that to be
I
true.
wasn't
I
even
thought,
paying attention to that part. Everybody else,
yeah,
everybody's serving. There's no bad actors on this show at all.
right. And well, they were saying that that they weren't bad actors, but the characters that they had to play were seemingly one-dimensional. Like they didn't
Not
have a lot to do.
necessarily, because
I didn't
everybody got
agree,
something
right?
going on.
Okay, so we disagree. And so not with each other, but with that, right? Oh, here it is. We're
Yeah,
putting it up on the screen now. That's the
yeah, because I saw the. I was like, wait, I'm not reading what you're reading. I
yeah.
still saw the Daenerys, but I was going with it.
Yeah, no worries. And we're gonna move on to this one. No fans of House of Dragon will never scroll. Yeah, so just a little picture, just to show some love to the fans that we see there on Twitter going crazy.
I seen
Which
one with that same exact image, and it was like, so I waited all season for this. To what end? Like quoting what Aegon. Like we did all this to what end? Like
Another one says within 2 seasons, House of the Dragon has given the dragons more unique personalities with limited screen time than Game of Thrones ever did. Vagar is the boomer, Caraxes the weirdo, Sea Smoke super nerdy, Sunfire and Cyrax the big puppies, and Silverwing and Vermithor the royal beasts. Because someone had written Silverwing just pushing the old boy around and seeing if he's with the shits. The dragons are so funny and aggy. Yeah, Brandon Lewis and Edgar Ortega. These were hilarious comments. I was like, I have to show these because people are saying some great things here online. Do you agree with that? Do you think that the dragons are getting a lot more characterization on this show than they did on Game of Thrones?
definitely, like everybody has their own sound, their own personality, their own look.
Right. Okay. And then some other ones. It says took 2 years to basically move through 5 pages of Fire and Blood. Everything could have been condensed to 5 episodes at most. Someone wrote, haha, agreed, crying face. We essentially watched an 8 episode, approximately 9 hour trailer for season 3. Any of those stood out to you?
Hate is gonna hate. Mm.
You think so? I know. What if you had to speak on the frustration that the audience felt? Where do you think it comes from? And not just summing it up to that they haven't read the book, uh, but why? How do you justify? Why? How could you justify them feeling this way? Because I know you don't
Because
necessarily agree,
I
but
don't agree. So how can I justify what I don't agree with?
can you see their point of view?
Not at all. Period. Like not at all.
Oh my god.
Like not at
Let's
all.
see. That's so funny. Scripts don't have to be exact. That's so funny. Yeah, I agree. Scripts don't have to be exact.
I agree.
uh,
Everything's open to interpretation, but I'm just saying, like, there's certain key points, not just scripts, but like source material wise. Like, not just that the script has to be exactly what the source material is, but like you should still like, especially when there's important characters, like don't just for the sake of convenience bleed characters into one another.
that season of House of the Dragon could have been an email. They got 1.8 million views. It had 736 quotes, close to 8,000 reposts, 49,000 likes. People felt like it was just that seems
Because
to be
people are
like
watching the wrong show. Like, if you want action based, go watch Fast and the Furious. Go watch Marvel. Like, this is not. This is fantasy. This is dragons. This is slow build up. This is Tudors. This is Lord of the Rings. This is like this is a slow build. Like
oh, and
this is
someone
what it's
posted
meant to be.
this a picture of Cyrax next to Rhaenyra saying they have matching heart necklaces. I was like, oh, I didn't notice that. That's so cute.
They would
I'll
say
put
we rock together.
yeah. Yeah, I was like, okay, there was something. And then we had this one. They were talking about
Also, that
I said, yeah, it's like lip injection, rhinoplasty, hair transplant, Botox, jaw reduction, fat reduction, double chin removal, liposuction, buccal fat removal, double eyelid surgery, under eye fillers, cheek filler, nose bridge implant. I was like, now
but I
that's
think they were
confident.
also misconstrued because the one that they're saying had the like hair, restoration and all that is before. Like the guy over here with the crown is season 8 of like Game of Thrones, while the other guy is season 1 of Game of Thrones. So they're showing you the season 1 version in the flashback and not the season 8 version, because the season 1 version was just a White Walker, while the season 8 version was the big reveal of the Night King. So we're seeing just a regular schmegular White Walker and the Night King next to each other. They're not the same person.
Right. Right. Yeah. I have to like do further research about that.
No,
Um.
because when you see season 1, you see the one with the long hair who's riding his horse with the killing of the thing, and then when you get to like the final season, you see this version. So we only seen
Yeah.
White
Like I
Walkers.
need a
We didn't
refresh
see
so
the
I could
night.
see
Yeah,
it. Like I know you're right. I just don't
yeah,
remember what they looked like on the shows like
yeah.
exactly because I do remember there being a difference.
Yeah, because I
Um.
even sent you. Yeah, I sent you a photo of who he is. Let me see if I got it to the thing. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. But you could email it if anything. But what was I going to mention? The ticker is out the comment. Let me see. Allison realizes she was wrong and misunderstood. Yeah. Uh, okay, was wondering where he's at. Oh, sorry, I missed. There we go. Can't drag on the big screen. Okay. So the Targaryen who sits the Iron Throne is not just a king or a queen. They are a protector of the realm. Right? That's from Queen Rhaenyra Targaryen, first of her name. And yeah, that was that was a quote that I thought like pretty much summed up where Rhaenyra's thoughts are. And yeah, I thought she still embodies that. She's still powering through and trying to do what's right for the realm. So still hats off to you, my dear. And just some final quotes to stand out about the show. You know, we do have, let me just move this. Da, 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 da. Brand, let's move that. You know, we did have Rhaenyra saying to Allison, history will paint you a villain, right? And
And
Allison,
Addison was like, "Whatever."
right, right. She's like, don't worry. And she asks Rhaenyra to come with her, you know, and Rhaenyra's like, my part is here. Whether I
That was
will,
weird. That was weird behavior. Don't ask me to come with you. We haven't been friends for how long? And now you want to act like we are having this kumbaya moment? Girl, I don't like you and you know this. Like, go away. Like, we are
oh,
not
she
friends. Like,
said,
we
my
are
part
not
is here.
friends.
Whether I will, whether I will or no, it will. It was decided for me long ago. And I think that comes back to that image that they ended the show on. Let me pull it up. You know, it was decided for her. So it was fated. It's just things are what they are, and she will be, you know, she's got to face her destiny. Her destiny is what her father, you know, chose for her to be the person who sat on the throne.
Or
And
death. Because when you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die. As my
right,
girl Cersei Lannister, who's my attire inspiration.
right, yeah. So it's just like, oof. Let me see something. This, that, 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 this, that. Okay. I was messing with our screens to see if there was a way to show the overlay that I wanted to show at the same time. So yeah, you know, and I think that quote kind of tells us that Allison, she still doesn't feel like Allison doesn't feel like I feel like she wants to end have a little lovely ending with Rhaenyra, you know? I think she would like
Yeah.
that. I think she would love to get her best friend back. She hasn't been happy. She probably remembers the last time she
Too
laughed and
bad. Too
smiled.
little, too late, JoJo.
The last
Bye.
time I
Go
smiled was
away.
with you. Can't we run away? We're old
No,
now.
we
We've been through a
cannot.
lot.
No,
We
we
had
cannot.
sex with
Bye,
Kristen
girl.
Cole. We could bond
Bye,
about that. We used to
girl.
dream about
Bye.
that.
There's a certain person that I will not mention, but yeah, they're very much giving what Allison. That person will be giving what Allison is giving to
Can't
Rhaenyra
we
right
run
now.
away?
And no, we cannot. Too much has been done. Too much has been said, girl. Bye. Like she gave her the look. Like, why are you here? Like, girl, it's too. Like, go away. Go away.
Um, and then just to finish that quote we mentioned earlier, when Rhaenyra says in Valerian, "Leave me again at your peril," And Damon's response was, "I could not. I have tried, my queen." It's like,
I've
okay,
tried my niece.
right. So,
Weirdos.
so I don't know. Do you still think, without any reference from the book, do you feel like from what the show is setting up, could you see Damon? Would you have to, if you had to bet money, do you think Damon will betray Rhaenyra at some point?
No, I think like how the show is going, like this should be like his arc of like now I shouldn't be a question mark anymore. Like we've had 2 seasons of like where does my loyalty lie? Now you know where it is. So let's rock this shit. Mm.
Right.
Death
Yeah.
or the throne. We're in this together. Mm.
Right. Let me just. Yeah. Yeah. I hope he doesn't do anything crazy. Like try
Like
her.
sleep with a witch.
Yeah. None of that, please. Don't sleep with a witch. Don't sleep with a bitch. Don't sleep with nobody. Like, let's just let's just move it along. Now you're saying Rhaenys Targaryen, daughter of Aemon. Is that the same Rhaenys? Yeah, I guess. She had black hair in the books?
Wait, Rhaenys, like the like
Yeah.
Corlys wife, like
Yeah.
Meleys
Yeah.
Rider. Yeah, her hair is black as night in the book because she's
Oh,
Baratheon. She's a Baratheon Targaryen.
okay. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see if I can
So it
put.
shows legitimacy to Rhaenyra's children. That's why it was always more of a question mark in the book than it is in the show. Like in the show, it's clear cut, but in the book, it's a question mark because Rhaenys has black hair. Mm.
Right. I was just
And there's
looking to
plenty of
see.
pictures. Yeah, there's plenty of pictures of Rhaenys. You could Google Rhaenys Targaryen, and it's just gonna show her with well, Rhaenys Valerion
Right.
or
Exactly.
Targaryen, because before she married Corlys, she was a Targaryen, but a Targaryen with black hair.
Right. Let me see if I can add these. Boop. I just want to, we're wrapping up the season, so I just want to show a little love to our lady, Rhaenys.
Yeah.
She was a big
See,
part
this
of the
how we
show.
love her and know her on the show. But picture her with jet black hair, and it shows like how Rhaenyra's children could be legitimate and not bastards.
Right. Yeah. And yep. And yeah. And then RIP, I still remember wrapping up the season. I guess we could go through some, maybe we could quickly talk about some of the highlights, or we could, well, let's save that for
We'll
next
save
week.
that for the wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go through our highlights. But, oof, the way Maylease went down, it went down, honey. It went down.
Down,
We'll do
down.
that. Our top 10. We'll think about each of our top
Our
10
own. We're coming
moments.
up with a top 10 list. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
down
or
for
at
that.
least top 5 each. Something that we could just wrap up the season.
He was like, it might
And
not have been too good for a top 10, maybe top 5.
I just don't want to keep the audience too long. But
Okay, a little 30
uh,
minute little snippet.
right. And yeah, I just think, I guess just some final thoughts on this episode. I enjoyed it a lot. I know there's some big conversations going around. Like, we shared some of the Twitter sphere and their stuff that they were talking. And that's not everybody, Some people were pleased. You and I have been following the season very closely and we've really enjoyed it. I think there's a lot of people
Definitely.
out there like us. Even I was listening to my girl Grace Randolph. Shout out to Grace Randolph of Beyond the Trailer, and some of the fans in her chat room were saying the same thing as like you did, like, oh, you're not a fan if you didn't like it. So there is that community
Yeah,
who feels like you don't appreciate the show because maybe you don't know it so well. But again, people are like, well, isn't it supposed to have mass appeal? We didn't get to show that image, but I did find that the mud fight, the big battle of the season finale,
the battle of the bastards
right?
had
That
nothing on this.
you know, and yeah, I don't want to talk. We won't keep you too long. This is where they're saying they must seek justice, and we will talk about. Yeah, next
Yeah,
week
we're gonna
maybe
wrap it up like next. Yeah,
we'll talk about some of the things we were missed that we thought could have happened. how it compared to Game of Thrones.
Predictions. We could do like a bingo card of our predictions for season 3.
Right.
Mm.
So, and I want to read this one again. You stand in the presence of Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, rightful heir to the Iron Throne, rightful queen of the Andals, and the first men, protector of the Seven Kingdoms, the mother of dragons, the Khaleesi of great grass, sea, the unburnt, the breaker of chains. And I feel like
Okay,
that's
Jorah Mormont.
okay, and I feel like that's a good place to leave,
We're
folks.
giving Jorah Mormont the last quote. That's verbatim what he always said, introducing the hell.
Okay. He's so famous, he need not be mentioned, you know? Oh my god, yo, is this my glass broke? I think cheersing to you.
Oh,
Isn't
because you
that
didn't cheers with an actual goblet, darling. You didn't
yo?
cheers with an
That's
actual
interesting.
goblet. Oh,
Look at
that's because
that.
you're Team Green, honey. That's why. Allison over here,
That's right. I'm here trying to make things right.
Rainier over here, like too little, too late, and in my face.
Rhaenyra definitely doesn't sing that song.
Oh my God,
She's way
that
too
wasn't
dreary.
real.
Sorry, I'm like Mystique. I
I am
could change.
flabbergasted right now. Wait, wait, wait.
I'm like,
I want
wait,
to see if I want to see if I can pull it off. I want to see if I
let me
can do the
see.
same. Oh, oh! Now you give it Sia. Now you give it Sia.
So because this is how I started our season on air, just in case you were watching from the beginning. It
Now
should
you're
pay
about to
off.
swing from a chandelier, honey. Now you're
That's
about to
right,
swing
I
from a
am. I'm gonna
chandelier.
swing from Harrenhal's chandeliers now that they've finally fixed it up in the show. So yeah, this is
All
how the
right.
show started the season. So please, guys, subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Yes, definitely.
It was so lovely to have everyone who tuned in and supported. Much appreciated. I feel like Wednesday's time slot works. I think next time when we review Duncan and Egg show the night Seven Kingdom, we'll do it the day after. But
Yeah, I was gonna
Wednesday,
say let's like next season. Let's try to put it on a Monday night or something so we could get
yeah,
get right in there.
yeah, we'll keep it fresh for you guys. So, yay! Let me see. We got one last comment there. One last comment. Can I get to it? Sorry, I don't want to miss anybody's comment. Yes, I think. Oh, I think it was built up for a letdown. Oh, I hear that. Good night. All right. Good night, everybody. It was so lovely to have you all. We
It was
appreciate you.
a
This was our
pleasure.
longest show of the season, rightfully so. I had Mr. Jimmy Moonshine back. Tell him where we could find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Jimmy Moonshine, and yeah, that's 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 where it's most popping. That's where it's most
Okay,
popping.
great. And yep, I'm Robert Mercado, Robert Mercado World, Robert Mercado World everywhere. And shout out to some of the folks we had on this season, including Mr. Vinsane, still Vinsane. He was on our first episode.
Yes.
He's not here. Maybe he'll be here next week.
So the
We'll see.
bees,
Yeah,
bees.
but shout out to him. You can still follow him at Still Been Sane. He's a friend of the show. Shout out to Ms. Luz Baez, my mama. She's tuned into every episode.
Yes,
Been a
Mama
great
Luce. Mwah.
commentator. Jimmy Moonshine, thank you. You made our season so fun by chatting
Mm.
with us and being on the show. So I appreciate you. I would not have wanted to do this episode without you. So thank you. It
Honored
was
to
a great
be here,
conversation.
darling.
Yeah, it was a great combo. It's always a pleasure. So yeah, I look forward to let's get into this next week, and we'll give people a further wrap up. And
Yes.
yeah, let's not keep them any longer. Let me see. We'll end it with a little video going out of me talking some shit. So, all right, guys,
As
have a
per
good night.
usual, but love ya.
Right? Hey, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment below all your thoughts. I'd love to hear any feedback. Any press is good press these days, know what I mean? Robert Mercado.